Kind of think of going to a doctor. If you're not happy with your business for whatever reason, you're feeling drama, 3 things I find with a sick company. Number 1, the owner is overworked. Number 2, underpaid. And number 3, they're taking 100% of all the risk. We do initial assessments on the company, and I focus on 2 areas. Number 1, I assess the business owner.
Hello. Welcome to another Knowledge Bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Cogliano. If this is your first time joining us, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell and hit that like button. This will be greatly appreciated in helping getting out this content to great leaders and great individuals like yourself. Herb leads his own advisory practice, leveraging the Scaling Up performance platform. As a business coach, experienced CEO, and professional of Scaling Up Mastered Business Course, he has learned firsthand what it takes to overcome many business challenges. Herb is pursuing his passion of working with leaders and growth companies to achieve more freedom by helping them create industry-leading strategies, a culture of accountability, flawless execution, along with a healthy cash flow within their organizations. Please help me welcome Herb with From Startup to Scale Up.
This is Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
My name is Herb Cogliano. I've been fortunate that I'm a serial entrepreneur, grew up in a family business from birth, and was able to work in various stages of a company as we were growing and then adding new companies, but ultimately learned a lot from journey through adversity, working with different types of people and experience and expertise, ultimately creating something which was good and of value to the community and the people that we serve. So I'm an executive business coach now, and I'm a business advisor for those of you that are looking to go from startup to scale up and ultimately create a business which you can be proud of, or really is a legacy to you and the people that you work with.
Wow. You mentioned startup to scale up. I want to talk about those phases because that's a crucial moment. I mean, if you look at a human being, right, that first year, the 2 years is very crucial. You have to do all these things, and if you miss it, it could cause harm. With that perspective, I want to look at this startup to scale up. I want to kind of talk about that journey. What are some of the common mistakes you see individuals make in this particular phase from the startup to the scale-up?
Sure. Startup, in my mind, takes an extreme amount of focus. What I mean by that is, do you have enough market traction? Is your idea so compelling that you can get $1 million in revenue per year? But we start the company, and then next thing you know, we get distracted. We're doing payroll, we're doing marketing, we're doing finance, when I think your full attention has to be on sales and marketing. It will not be perfect. I like to say you can break a few eggs. You may drop a few eggs and break them. But if you can keep your eye on the ball and prove that your product or service can get to 1 million or more, that tells me you have a service that is scalable. And now it's a question of going from startup to scale up. But a lot of people lose that focus, and then they ultimately never break the ceiling.
I want you to talk about the company, and I want you to talk about your story and your journey behind it. And then we're going to dig deeper into it.
So started in the family business, came into the business, worked in it my entire life. But as a result of that journey, I saw the frustration with the different stages of growth. At one point, we hit a plateau. We weren't growing any further. Profits weren't where we wanted. And it didn't feel good. But I knew our team was very smart, and we were all hardworking people. Why can't we break through? What was holding us back was not that we weren't smart or hardworking, but we had never been there before. And being able to jump over the bottlenecks in the roadblocks really helped us break through to the level of growth that we wanted. What I also learned, Cedric, which is so important, is that your company can do financially well, but you can also do good by the people and communities you served. And I'm very proud that the company was named year over year a best places to work by the people, an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company, which showed we had services our clients and our markets really appreciated. That to me was the ultimate balance of profit and purpose working together to make our whole community a better place. So I've been doing work on the 5 traits of successful high-impact CEOs. And it's really about a mindset, I think. It's a transformation from your current business owner state to the 5 traits of a high-impact CEO business owner. And when I started to look at the clients we were serving year over year, these 5 traits bubbled up over and over. Number 1, growth orientation. These people had an abundance mindset, and they knew that A players that work for them want and need a bigger future. So they needed to have a mindset and be willing to take the risk to grow their company repeatedly. And this was a key insight. They were not companies that had 1 good year or 2. They were companies that grew 3, 4 years in a row, consistently growth. Second one, they were coachable learners. They were open-minded, they were self-aware, and they knew they were personally committed, them and their team, to learning and becoming better to adapt with markets they didn't know. Have you ever met some really smart people that thought they knew it all?
Absolutely.
And they learned a lot. They read a lot of books. They maybe went to a good school, but they weren't coachable. Or somebody who's very open-minded, coachable, but really doesn't value or spend time with self-development. And there was one other insight about coachable learners. They not only valued their development, they appreciated and valued the development of their team.
Wow.
And they were willing to invest in it. It was a priority for them. So number 3, strategic thinkers. Sometimes when your company's smaller, you're in the mud and you're in the weeds. And all you're doing is transaction after transaction. But are you taking a step back? Where is the market going? What is your competition doing? What are some of the issues, trends with political issues, economic issues, interest rates, inflation? These all impact your company. And these high-impact CEOs were aware and strategic in the way they move their company.
But you may have someone that's listening right now and said, you know what, Herb, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do this. I don't have the time to step outside of the business and look at it because I am working in the business and it's really hard to work on it.
They are not alone. I've been there. I feel their pain, but I can tell you there are tools and resources in Scaling Up that we help people do that. Cedric, you know, they say the longest journey begins with a single step. And we begin by learning to walk before we jog, and then we ultimately run, and we do that together. Number 4, you need to be an accountable executor. Will you hold people accountable? Do you have a process for driving all the critical things in your business? Do you have the courage to top grade and demand that you hire and work with all A players? This does not happen overnight. It's a journey, but how many companies do not do well because they accept people that are not willing to do the shared work that they need to do as part of being the team. I've dealt with it in my career, in my evolution as a leader, but accountable executors, everybody knows what the role is. Everyone has KPIs that align to it. Everybody has accountability to themselves and to each other. And the business owner is willing to hold people accountable, including themselves, to getting the right things done. And then the final one, are they an effective communicator? Do they have clear and timely communication? Does the team know where the business is at, where they need to go? Can they communicate openly without fear of reprisal or pushback? And do they always look for clarity? If somebody is confused or doesn't understand, do they look to stop immediately and get everybody on the same page before they move forward? The high impact CEOs always do that.
Wow, wow, wow. Those are a load of knowledge bombs. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. This is so good. This is so good. We're taking notes. Can you share a particular success story or case study where you helped the company achieve significant growth and scalability?
Yeah, so I have a couple of them, if you don't mind, and it brings big joy to me. I have big smiles when I talk about it. But I had one service firm where the team and the staff were not getting along well. And we implemented meeting rhythms which allowed them to communicate about the right things at the right time. They didn't have clarity on how they did their job. They didn't know how they should define success. So we created job scorecards for every person in the company with their specific KPIs to give better accountability and clarity about how their work made a difference for them in the company.
Wow.
They've been growing 35% year over year by creating this aligned, engaged, open communication culture.
Wow.
Had another company where they were dealing with company growing, but the employees were not developing. So we started a company book club where we took articles, particular books, whether it's customer service, how to deal with AI, communication and troubleshooting skills. And we started to put people in these clubs with mentors so they could start to get self-help in development. And that brought the community and the employees together. Had another client that was selling directly to retail in their local community. But during COVID, when people weren't going out, we had to develop an e-commerce strategy, and we took their products from local to international.
Amazing.
And created a new sales channel that they had never had before, which was really fun. I'm very proud of the work they did. And then finally, I had a company that was not using their labor efficiently. They would have a problem, they'd hire people and throw people at the problem, but it didn't solve the problem. It just made it more messy and more drama.
Yeah.
So we learned how to a concept called labor efficiency ratio, and we learned how to grow the company profitably with the right type of people so that it was balanced and it was productive for everybody.
And I want to kind of talk from a company perspective. What's the thought process in you're looking at the problem, you're discovering the problem with your clients. What type of thought process or you and your team actually going through to be able to create successful solutions for your clients?
So Cedric, I kind of think of going to a doctor. If you're not happy with your business for whatever reason, you're feeling drama, 3 things I find with a sick company. Number 1, the owner is overworked. Number 2, underpaid. And number 3, they're taking 100% of all the risk. we do initial assessments on the company, and I focus on two areas. Number one, I assess the business owner mindset in relation to the 5 traits of high impact CEOs, because I want to know where the gap is so we can help them, him or her, develop quicker. And then the second one is an assessment on the business readiness to grow to the next level. Based upon the assessment, we're able to get a diagnosis of where to go first, and then we prescribe the tools and the coaching method to help them attack that low-lying fruit and get the business moving in the right direction.
And this explains something, because I'm listening to you talk and I was like, wow, because right before we hit the record button today, a lot of things that I do, the podcast, and my wife and I with our marriage coach podcast and what we do in the community. And I was so impressed from the get-go, like, man, that you did your due diligence and actually, got to research and, the different things that I do. And I think that's amazing. So hats off to you. And I think Lead to Greatness, each and every one of us can add to our tool belt, where do our research, do our homework, and don't just go into a situation, a room, an interview, a business opportunity blindfolded, having that mindset.
I think you've nailed it. All right. If you're going to do great work, you need to understand what work you're getting involved with, and that takes time and research. So no, thank you. And I was very impressed from the work that you're doing, you and your wife, and making a difference in your community. And
thank you.
I look at purpose, and purpose is so important to why we're on this journey together. And the work you're doing makes a difference. So I'd love to hear stories about marriage coaching. I'm sure you can write a whole book on that, but we'll leave that for another day.
I want to ask you from this perspective, what do you see the most important factor that entrepreneurs and business leaders should focus on when aiming to scale their company's ability?
I think you need to be clear about what you're trying to do. Do you have a vision? Because I believe the business shouldn't own you. You should grow a business that you love and desire.
Yeah.
So being aligned with that purpose of why you even opened the company in the first place, working with a group of people that share similar values, the way we behave and treat each other, very important.
Yeah.
And then getting clear about how are you going to be different in the market, Cedric? You know what one of the biggest mistakes I see business owners make?
What's that?
A strategy is only as good as you providing something in the market that good clients value and makes you unique to the competition. The big mistake I see is they identify services or products that customers value, but they don't find out what makes them distinctive or unique. And because they don't, they become commoditized like everybody else.
Knowledge bomb. Oh my
So you need to do that homework, identify your best client type, and then get out in the market and ask them a bunch of wonderful questions. What's the number one reason why you work with our firm? And how is that different than the other firms you've worked with in the past?
Good. This is good. I want to do this because, I mean, you're really giving us a lot of information. And there's someone right now that may be listening saying, man, you know what? I need some one-on-one help. So I want to shift into what you do, your business, and helping others. What other type of clients are you looking for, and what can they expect from your service?
My ideal is a mid-market business owner that is frustrated or challenged with getting their company to the next level. They typically are the 5 traits or want to get the 5 traits, but They desire growth. They desire learning. They desire taking action. They don't sit on the sideline. They have a bias to let's get going.
Yeah.
And they have an orientation to want to take care and invest in their people. And they want to create a business with a legacy mindset, not just a scale up and cash out in 1 year or less. Because it doesn't work that way with most companies. It takes a commitment mindset to get them to that important level. For those people that want the most affordable investment to get knowledge, get the book on Amazon, Scaling Up by Verne Harnish. How a few companies make it and why the rest don't. It was a life changer for me. I read it back in 2003, and you could read it 20 times and still not get all the knowledge out of it. Second thing you can do, you can take a look at my work at my website. It's Aspire Growth Advisors with an S at the end.com. You're welcome to look at any of the tools and growth kit. We have a free growth kit, the high impact assessment, if you want to see where you are currently as a high impact CEO. But anything I could do to help, I'd love to help. And just been a pleasure being here with you today on the podcast.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What are some practical leadership growth tips, tools, advice that you can share with the Lead to Greatness community to help us reach our greatest potential?
I think it's the mindset. I think you need to really focus on developing those 5 mindset traits. But I'll also tell you, most people think if I work hard and I make good decisions, my company's going to grow. That's not always the case, Cedric. What I find is, are you making the right type of decisions? What do I mean by that? 4 areas we diagnose to see if a company is having scaling up illness. Your people decisions, your strategy decisions, your execution decisions, and how you manage cash decisions. If you can focus on getting those type of decisions right, and we have tools and methodologies to help you do that, your business will grow dramatically because of that focus and insight.
Wow, 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 wow. Those are some knowledge bombs. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Man, you're really helping us today. And I know there's individuals that's ready to get connected with what you guys are doing. So Lead to Greatness, go ahead, check out the website, check out the resources. He already gave you a great one. Get the book, Scale Up, get the book. And Herb, do you have any books of your own, or are you working on something?
You know what? I'm just finishing up a report, which I'm going to publish on how to become a high impact CEO. So when it's ready, it will be link up on LinkedIn, or I'll have it on my website, but looking forward to sharing that with everybody.
Everything that Herb has available for us to grow our business, taking us from start up to scale up. We're definitely excited, and definitely excited for everything, all your endeavors, Herb, for everything that you have set up for in the future. Do you have anything else set up in the future? Do you have any courses or anything that you are doing, somewhere in the near future? Maybe somebody want to get.
No, thank you. I teach the Scaling Up Masters Business course. So if anybody would be interested in taking a course, I teach that through the Growth Institute. And you're welcome to reach out to me on my website or on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to give you further information about that as well. I'm launching a Unlocking the High Impact CEO Within report.
Wow.
And it will be published to educate people on the 5 traits of a high impact CEO mindset.
Wow.
They'll also get access to a personalized assessment on how to look at their current mindset, along with a list of recommended strategies of developing the high impact mindset further. So looking forward to share that coming soon.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, we want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
It is my pleasure. I wish you and your listeners continued success, and I hope we'll follow up sometime down the road.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So we want to thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself. So we want to thank you for joining us today. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.